Las Vegas Raiders star pass rusher Maxx Crosby recently appeared on a podcast where he was asked some big questions about his future with the team. One of the most important questions was, is he fully committed to the Raiders, or is he considering moving on? There have been plenty of rumors and reports, and Crosby's response was quite interesting. He explained that two main issues are shaping his decision: his contract situation. The team's long-term plan. Crosby shared that he has been having discussions with the Raiders front office, ownership, head coach, and general manager about the team's future. He made it clear that he wants to win and is only willing to stay if the Raiders are serious about building a winning team. He also pointed out that he's not just playing for fun, he plays with full intensity and knows he won't be in the league forever. His goal is to win a Super Bowl and make it to the Hall of Fame. However, he doesn't want to take the easy route by joining a powerhouse team like the Chiefs just to win a ring. Instead, he wants to help build a winning culture in Las Vegas. The contract issue. Crosby's current contract runs from 2022 to 2026. But here's the problem. He has no guaranteed money left in 2025 and 2026. That means the Raiders could cut or trade him without financial consequences. This uncertainty is why so many rumors about his future are circulating. It's clear that Crosby wants a new deal, and not just a slight pay raise. He wants a long-term contract that reflects his value as one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Right now, the top 5 players at his position earn about $31 million per year, while Crosby is making far less. Even when he originally signed his deal, he could have demanded more money, but he took a team-friendly deal. Now, at 27 years old and in his prime, he deserves a contract that locks him in for the next several years. What's next? The Raiders have about $108 million in cap space this year. But giving Crosby a raise would mean adjusting their financial plans. If they extend him, they could secure a cornerstone player for years to come. However, if the Raiders don't step up with a fair deal and a clear plan to compete for a Super Bowl, Crosby might not be wearing silver and black much longer. Will Maxx Crosby hold out? There's a growing rumor that Maxx Crosby might hold out if the Raiders don't give him a new contract. Now, nothing is confirmed, but this isn't the first time Crosby has brought up his contract situation. In fact, he has mentioned it several times, which means it's clearly something on his mind. The Raiders need to take care of their star player. But Crosby's concerns aren't just about money, they're also about winning. The Raiders plan to win. Right now, the Raiders seem to have a stronger plan than they've had in years. Hiring Tom Telesco was a good move, and owner Mark Davis has been getting advice from smart football minds like Tom Brady and others. But the biggest move was bringing in John Spytek as the general manager. Crosby has had doubts about whether the Raiders are the right place for him to win a Super Bowl. But after talking with Tom Brady, Pete Carroll, and John Spytek, he now believes the team is heading in the right direction. In fact, Crosby even told Pro Football Talk that this is the most optimistic he has ever been about the team's future. And honestly, the Raiders do seem to be making smart moves. Just in the past month, they've brought in John Spytek as GM, who was seen as a rising star in the NFL, moved on from offensive coaches who weren't the right fit, hired Pete Carroll, a proven winner, as an advisor, added Chip Kelly, another experienced coach, to the staff. If you combine these moves with a strong 2023 draft class and the upcoming 2024 draft, the Raiders are building something promising. Maxx Crosby deserves a new deal. Some people argue that Crosby signed his contract a few years ago and should just play under it. But the reality is, the NFL doesn't work like that anymore. Players demand better contracts all the time, and if teams don't take care of their stars, those players eventually leave. Crosby sees other top players getting raises and guaranteed money, so why shouldn't he get the same? Raiders add experienced defensive coach. The Raiders have also made a key addition to their coaching staff by hiring Joe Woods as their defensive pass game coordinator. Woods, who was previously the Saints' defensive coordinator, will now be part of Pete Carroll's staff in Las Vegas. This is an interesting hire because Woods has led multiple top 5 defenses in his career. His experience could be a huge help to the Raiders' defense, especially in improving their pass coverage. With all these moves, the Raiders are heading in the right direction, but will they do what it takes to keep Maxx Crosby happy? That remains the biggest question. Joe Woods, a smart addition to the coaching staff. When looking at Joe Woods' track record, his defenses have been solid, if not spectacular. Ranking 13th, and 8th in points, allowed in different seasons, shows he knows how to put together a competent defense. And while he's also had years where his defense is ranked top 5 in yards allowed, what matters most is that he brings valuable experience to the Raiders. The key here is that Woods isn't coming in as the defensive coordinator. He's coming in as the pass game coordinator. That means his job is to focus on improving the secondary and working closely with Patrick Graham to create better defensive game plans. Why this hire makes sense. Joe Woods has a strong background in coaching defensive backs, making him a perfect fit for this role. While some of the Raiders' previous coaching hires didn't translate into success, this time feels different. These aren't just connections Antonio Pierce made throughout his career. These are strategic hires meant to improve the team. Woods will work hand in hand with Patrick Graham, who also has a background in coaching defensive backs and previously worked with Bill Belichick and Brian Flores in New England. This pairing gives the Raiders a strong foundation in the secondary, which is crucial in today's pass-heavy NFL. Building for the long term. The Raiders have done a great job assembling a strong coaching staff. And when building a winning culture, continuity is key. Pete Carroll is expected to be with the team for at least 3 years, possibly a 4th year depending on his future plans. If the Raiders can keep their coaching staff stable, it will help develop young players who will be on the team for years to come. Having consistency in coaching is crucial for long-term success, and the Raiders seem to be setting themselves up for sustained growth. Now it's all about executing on the field. The story behind Maxx Crosby's journey to the Raiders. This section dives into the incredible story of how Maxx Crosby became a Las Vegas Raider, as told by John Gruden and Crosby himself. John Gruden shares a behind-the-scenes look at the draft process, crediting his assistant Jeff Leonardo for discovering Crosby. According to Gruden, Jeff was obsessed with watching Mid-American Conference football games, and he repeatedly insisted that Crosby was a hidden gem. At first, Gruden didn't think much of it, but Jeff kept bringing up Crosby's name week after week. By the time the draft process came around, Jeff was convinced that Crosby was better than many higher-ranked prospects. The moment Maxx knew he'd be a Raider, Maxx Crosby also had a feeling that the Raiders were interested in him. He recalled a moment during the NFL Combine when then-GM Mike Mayock reacted strongly to his 40-yard dash time. That's when he started thinking, I'm going to be a Raider. However, Crosby wasn't drafted on day 1 or day 2, which frustrated him. He even texted a friend saying, "The Raiders have picks 103 and 106. They better take me tomorrow." And sure enough, at pick 106, Maxx heard John Gruden's voice on the phone, welcoming him to Oakland. A humble beginning to stardom. Once he arrived at rookie orientation, Gruden made a point to introduce the rookies to the veterans. He played a clip of Crosby benching 135 pounds at Eastern Michigan, jokingly telling the veterans, "You guys need to get stronger than this guy." But as soon as the game film rolled, it was clear. Crosby had relentless energy, a high motor, and incredible talent. Today, Maxx Crosby is one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, proving that hard work and belief can take a mid-round draft pick to stardom. This story serves as a reminder that great players can come from anywhere. It's all about finding the right fit and putting in the work.